Hi, it's Tom Corretcher from Connect Marketing. Thanks for watching this video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about converting more leads. Now, I know this is a challenge that many business owners have. I know this for two reasons. One, you're watching this video and it's about converting leads. Secondly, we work with our clients every week and this is a topic that comes up most often. And the reality of it is this, is that there are some simple systems you can install in your business that allows you to convert leads more profitably, reliably, and predictably, week in, week out. And I want to cover that for you today. So later on, we're going to cross over to a training I did for some of our VIP coaching clients where we go over this exact topic and we break down the different reasons that people are having trouble converting and how they can reverse engineer the process and install these systems in their business so they don't have these problems anymore. So some of the common things that we hear from our clients, and in fact, when we started our agency right all those years ago, we had these same issues. They are things like, as soon as you generate the lead, they ghost you. You can't get them on the phone. They're not responding to emails. They're not answering back to SMSs. Well, we're going to show you why that's happening and what you've got to do to reverse it, okay? So we're going to show you how to start conversations with your leads because we all know that conversations lead to conversions. The other challenge that some people have is that when leads actually book themselves into an appointment, so either they've booked themselves in through your websites and they're booked in for a consultation or a demo call or actually an appointment, they don't actually show up. And it blows your mind because they're booked in and they're not showing up. Well, there's a reason for this. We're actually going to show you how to fix that as well. So we're going to demystify the whole thing about these leads are junk, these leads are rubbish, they're no good. Well, that's simply not true. Most leads are good. It's just most businesses don't have the right follow-up to actually turn them into a new client or a conversion. So we're going to show you how to get that done. So hang around. It's going to be a great video. But before we get into it, I've got a favor to ask you. And I want you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And for two reasons. I want you to like the video so my ego knows that you're actually getting some value out of it. But secondly, I wanted you to subscribe to our channel because when we release this new content, it's a guaranteed way for you to make sure you see it, okay? And if we've ever got to reach out to you, we can get to you and we can share some great content that we're producing if we feel can benefit you, okay? So like and share. And the other thing you want you to do, if you look below this video, maybe over to this way or this way, maybe there's a button there where you can book a call. If you feel like we can help you with any of the challenges you're having with your marketing in your business, then book a call, let's have a chat. If there's no button, there's probably a link to our website. I know there's a button over there. There's so many ways you can get in contact with us. Get in contact, let's have a chat, and let's see if we can help you out with any challenges that you're having. All right, thanks a lot. Let's cross over to this training that I did with some clients and convert you more leads. Alrighty, so conversions. So you're here for this coaching call for one reason. There's a bit of a bottleneck in your business from generating the leads to actually converting them into clients. Now, you don't worry, you're not alone. This is the majority of where I spend a lot of my time coaching our clients on this exact topic. So it doesn't matter whether you're a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, we got some chiros on here, physios, podiatrists. I know there's some of you selling investment properties, and it doesn't matter what the thing is, what you're selling. What's important is that you understand a conversion process, okay? And it's easy to forget some of these topics, right? And maybe at the beginning you were really focused on learning how to build your campaigns out, like learning how to create an offer, set up your ads, get your funnels working, your automations, all that stuff. Now you've got that dialed in and now it's about, really moving along that process and perfecting the next step. And that's really what this training's about. What we're going to be looking at are some of the practices that we do that, we still do these every day. So we run an ISA service for some of our clients. And, part of that job is calling up and qualifying this data. So the ISAs that work for us follow this exact process. I'm hoping to impart those lessons to you today and make you understand how easy it is to actually get this implemented in your business. Okay, so today you could be watching this and wanting to do it yourself, or you could be watching this wanting to train somebody in your organization to do this job, or you could be watching this and our company's taking care of it for you, but you're a smart business owner and you just want to learn what we actually do. But basically, there is a presupposition that we sort of live by when it comes to lead generation, okay? And that is that conversations lead to conversions, okay? Now, it's very easy to get stuck in the trap of, instead of calling people, you might just say, you might just text them, or you might just email them. Or some of the traps we see quite often is a lead will come into a system, a message will go out, automated, right? The lead thinks it's the actual business owner messaging them, and they'll actually write an SMS back and give you some information. And then, the business owner will actually write an SMS back going, yeah, sure, I can help you on that. When's a good time to call? Now, there's nothing really wrong with that, right? But, what I would tell you to do is, if someone's engaged like that, just call them up. And the quicker you can call them, the better, okay? So, when I say conversations lead to conversions, I mean conversations with you talking to them, okay? And nothing gets you to a conversion quicker than picking up that phone or having that meeting. Not sure what your business is. If it's a local business, maybe you can do the meetings. If not, you're going to pick that phone up and do them on Zoom or something like that. But the point is that pick the phone up, have a conversation, and do it that way. Okay. So it becomes a matter of, how do you start more conversations, right? Well, the way we do it is with 3-channel follow-up. Okay. So what do I mean by 3-channel follow-up? Well, I mean, instead of using just email, which is predominantly what we used to use as a communication channel when we were doing lead generation, technology's got to a point now where we can be using other medias. Okay, so what we like to use now, we like to use email still, we like to use SMS or text message, and we like to use voicemail drops, okay? And the whole reason why we use these is because each one of these media, if you do it the right way, gets a response. And when you get that response, you pick that phone up and you have that conversation, okay? So we just find that using a multi-channel follow-up approach to your lead generation is going to allow you to maximize the opportunities to have more conversations with your leads, okay? Now, most of you guys watching this are actually using this exact process because you're using our software to do it. You know the power of this, right? But it's easy to get caught into that tennis match of SMSs or of emails, and that's what we don't want to do, right? So you just want them to give a response, and then you take over. I'll give you some ideas for what we do, okay? So when a lead comes in, if we get a response, we'll ring. When a lead comes in, if we don't get a response, we'll ring. That's the rule, right? So if they come into our ecosystem, we're going to be calling them, all right? So you should be leveraging tech to actually start more of these conversations, whether it be via SMS, email, or voicemail. Now, even the software we use can do WhatsApp messaging. It can do Facebook Messenger messaging, right? So there's plenty of ways that you can get to people, right? But the point is that we use the tech to start the conversation, and that's when the real human has to take over, all right? So, we've got leads coming in. We've got a pipeline filling up. You're going to have to make some calls, right? So it's important to understand some things before you call, all right? And there's a whole lot of stuff you can be doing, from state management to, changing your inner attitudes around what you're doing and calling, right? And, I find that there's one thing that you can be doing on these calls that are going to dramatically improve the results, right? And it's something that's really hard to teach. But there was a study that was done on it, and it's really what has led me to put it into this training. Now, it's not mine. I didn't invent this, okay? But I noticed the dramatic improvement in our sales teams and our ISA teams when they deploy this one tactic, okay? And I learned this many years ago as well, all right? And what I'm talking about is enthusiasm. You cannot get on these calls and sound like a half asleep drone who doesn't want to be doing these calls, who sees it as a challenge, right? It's just not the way to do it, okay? And when I explain to you what's on the next slide, you're going to understand this, all right? Now, people say, well, what is enthusiasm? I don't friggin' know what enthusiasm is, right? But I can sum it up like this. It is happy, positive, and energetic, all right? So those words mean the same to most people, okay? So now what you need to do is come across that way on these calls, okay? Now, we need enthusiasm not just for this. We need enthusiasm for everything in life. We need it for like life, learning, success. We need enthusiasm. We need to be enthusiastic, okay? And the reason why I'm focusing on this is because it is a big game changer. And I want you to understand how humans communicate. All right. So there was this doctor that did this study, right? And it's all about personal communication. Now, his name was Dr. Albert Mebrabian, right? Now, he come up with this rule, it's 7-38-55% rule, right? And this is basically how humans communicate, right? So let's just do this breakdown, okay? So on the purple here, we've got this 7% spoken words, right? Now, so then the blue section is 38% voice and tone, all right? So this is your how you're saying it, right? But then look at this yellow section. It's 55% is body language. Now, I've heard that before. Majority of communication is done through body language. Yep, no problem, right? And I've heard that. It's not a new thing. But here's the challenge, right? If you're on the phone or you're on a Zoom chat, like I'm on here and you're going to see my face, right? How much benefit are you going to get from body language when you're speaking to your leads? Okay, you're not going to get it, right? So that leaves you with 38% voice and tone and 7% the spoken words, what you're actually saying, right? So what you're actually saying, you can plan all that out, you can memorize it, you can have that in a process, no problem. But the voice and tone. So how do we have the right voice and tone because we don't have body language? Well, it's enthusiasm, okay? If we're enthusiastic about that stuff, then we can have the right tone, right voice, and it allows us to use the 38% to its maximum, right? So, if we've got the 38 and the 7 going on, that gives us 45%, right? But we lose a big factor in communication by using the phones the way we're using in this lead generation. But it can be done, all right? So I just want you to understand how humans communicate and how being enthusiastic is so important to building rapport, to building value, okay? These people don't know you. So, you've got to be working hard here. You've got to really uncover what their wants and needs are, and you basically need to deliver that to them. All right? It's as simple as that. All right. So let's look at some other elements that make your lead generation the best. All right? So one of the things that we talk about is speed to lead. All right? The quicker you get to these leads, the better they are. All right? So, I'm going to say it. You can ring a lead within 5 minutes of them coming through the system. You're going to have a great strike rate with them picking up the phone. Some of you may be not in a position to do that. That's fine. You could always hire our company to do that. That's up to you, right? Or you could train your own person to do it, right? But we've built software that allows you in real time to be able to monitor this stuff, right? But the reason why speed to lead is good is because, they've come through your funnel and they have just seen your offer and just claimed it, right? So they've got this whole kinesthetic mental unison going on. And then bang, you appear on the phone and everything just hooks up, right? And what we like to do, if you can't get to them straight away, we like to reaffirm how you got their information, right? And getting them to remember that. Okay, so something like, hey, recently you submitted some information to us through one of our Facebook posts. Do you remember doing that, right? And that's a good way to get them to refocus. But speed to lead is really important, okay? So the quicker you can get to these people, the better it's going to be, okay? And, sometimes if you can get to them while the phone's still in the hand, it's even more wow, all right? So the longer you leave it, the bigger the gap you put between when they actually took action to convert into your system and then when you're calling them, okay? And the bigger that gap, the more friction and resistance it can create, okay? So something else I want to speak to you about is call center best practices, okay? Now, this stuff's really simple, but I don't know why business owners tend to try and shortcut everything we're talking about today, right? So, it could be a few things. Maybe they don't fully see the value in it. Okay, maybe they just feel that that's not a good use of their time. And like I said, the problem we've got is that these people don't know you yet. They don't know whether they want to do business with you or not yet, and they've got all the power, right? So we've got to do things in a certain way just to get them into a position where they can hear our value proposition and we can work out whether they're a good fit for what we're trying to do or not. Okay, so some of the ways we do this is with call center best practices, right? And I want to take you through what these are now. And these are very simple things, all right? So first up, we've got call from a mobile number. Now, we got tons of these that our ISAs used to call from, right? But everybody's got one of these, right? So, call from your mobile number. Don't call from a landline. Why do we do this? It was pretty simple, right? Most people are more inclined to answer a mobile phone number more often than they would be answering a landline, okay? So, we don't call from landlines. We call from mobile phone numbers, right? The other thing we do is we call multiple times and at different times. So there's two parts here. So we'll start with multiple times, right? So we would call on a mobile phone. We'd ring once. If that doesn't answer, we call right back again, right? If that doesn't answer, right, we'll call again a third time. And that doesn't answer, we mark them a no answer, right? We don't, that's our process for our ISAs, and that's our process for my sales guys, and that's my process. And I know some of you out there watching that going, well, I won't call 3 times. That's fine. That is completely up to you. But we have done this testing, and we know 3 times is optimal. And it's not uncommon for people to pick up on that second or third time. All right. Now, the other thing you should be doing, if you're trying to call someone and they haven't answered on Monday at 9:00, and you call them on Tuesday at 9:00, they don't answer. Well, maybe 9:00's a bad time for you to be calling, right? So what you should be doing is mixing up the times, right? So like on the slide here, you call Tuesday 11 a.m., you might call Wednesday 2 p.m., and you might call Friday at 9 a.m., okay? So you've got a broad mix of times, right? And every single one of these attempts should be called 3 times, minimum 2 times, okay? Like, it's just how it is. And I want to tell a little story here as well, right? How many times will you follow up with a lead before you decide not to follow up with it anymore? Well, I've got an answer for that as well. We follow up 8 times, okay? So 8 times we put them then into another list of called no answer, right? And then would reactivate them, right? So we're going to work them over pretty intensively, right? They've generated themselves into a lead, and we want to speak to them, okay? So a little thing I want to talk to you about is, and some of you have probably seen this, I talk about this all the time in my other trainings, and in the training that you probably watched when you became a client, we talk about this as well. The optimal time and the optimal amount of times of reaching out to a lead before you can actually make contact with them is 6 times. And if you did it 6 times, you would connect with over 35% of your leads. Okay, so versus if you only did it one or twice, you probably only connect with 10% of them. All right. So my point is, if you're not following up at least 6 times, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and you're not really maximizing your opportunities that you're getting from your lead numbers that you've got coming in through your system. All right. So the next thing, right, is we don't leave messages. Okay. If we get a voicemail, we don't leave the message, right? And I'll tell you why. We don't want to expose who we are at this point. Okay. So, I'm not saying the lead doesn't want to talk to you. That's why they're not answering you. But maybe the way they think about what you've got to offer, they just don't value what they think you're going to offer them. So if you tell them who you are and they reveal the number of what you're calling about, they may not ever pick up your phone call. Whereas if you can get them on that phone call, you get the opportunity to speak to them, talk to them about your value proposition, how you can help them, and you've got a better chance of closing them, right? So we don't leave voicemails. We don't send text messages. Hey, tried to call you today. Give me a call back, right? We don't do any of that crap. We keep calling until we get them on the phone, all right? They have all the power at this point, okay? They're just a name, an email address, and a phone number, and maybe a bunch of other data, right? They haven't spoken to us. They don't know who we are. They don't know we can help them, right? So it's our job just to convert that first step, which is getting them on the phone, right? And then we use our other processes to keep them moving along on that sales journey, right? So don't leave messages, no SMSs, definitely no emails, right? So, they're just a waste of time. No one ever gets back to you. All right. And it's not that I don't want to speak to you. Like, we're going to get all that rubbish out of your head about why they're not picking up their phone or the leads are crap, they're no good. That's just rubbish, right? I've done this for years now. And every week we're speaking to people that we've probably rung 7 times previously, got them on a call, finally got through to them, deployed our processes and what we say, book them in to speak to whatever client that they're inquiring about when it comes to that stuff. So, don't leave messages, don't be lazy here, and no SMSs either, and no emails. All right, next one. Right, control booking times. This is really important, right? Now, you're always going to get a percentage of people that book in and don't show up, right? So I'm just going to throw that out there, right? So what you need to do is create a automation in your business where if they are a no-show, you have a campaign that you can put them into where it goes at rebooking them, allows them to rebook themselves, right? Also, make sure you've got appointment reminder campaigns operating, because that will remind them that they've got this appointment with you, okay? Because sometimes they make an appointment on a Monday and the appointment's on a Wednesday and things change, right? So by having the appointment reminder campaign, you're giving them the opportunity to change the appointment or reschedule or cancel it, right? So you've got to have a no-show automation. You've got to have an appointment reminder campaign, all right? The 2 other elements that come into play here, right, is that you're not using the right automations, right? Or you're speaking to somebody and maybe they're not really interested in what you're doing and they're just booking a time to get you off the phone. But the other part to this is that somebody's booking in and then they're just not showing up, right? Because you've built value on that call and maybe you've booked them for a week away. And what happens is they go back to their normal life over that week, right? And the unfortunate thing about that is you can't control somebody's thoughts, habits, behaviors, right? And you can't control their perspective if you're not in their direct environment. So we like to control booking time. So if we get someone on a call and they're like, oh, can you book me for 2 weeks' time? So absolutely, we can book you for 2 weeks' time. Our calendars don't go that far in advance to allow us to book you right now. Can I give you a call back on this date at this time to get you rescheduled? And you do it that way to build that momentum back up as to why they booked that call in the first place. All right. What we even like to do is if we're calling, so say today's a Friday, right? So if we're calling today, we'll be calling for Monday. right? Or unless you're one of our doctors, our chiros, and our healthcare guys, we might be calling for tomorrow, right? But we can really only book for tomorrow, Monday, or Tuesday, right? We won't be booking beyond that, right? Because we know that we want to speak to them today and get them straight in. Speak to them today and get them straight in, right? And same with mortgage, right? And real estate. Like, you know, if we're calling today, we want to be booking them for Monday, right? If we're calling on Monday, we want to be trying to be booking them for Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday, right? So, you know, we don't want to be calling them on Monday and booking them for the following Monday or for Monday fortnight, right? Like, it's just too far away, and that's just weak. They're not going to show. It's not going to go good, right? So, you should do this, right? Control those booking times. Now, the last thing, right? What do we do with non-converters and non-responders? Well, you hunt them down and you get them. No, just joking. Now, you're always going to get that, right? So it's important to remember that, you know, some people say that only 20% of the leads you generate from social media will convert, and maybe 30 or 40% will convert from search. And, you know, I think it's around 25, right? And if you're running the right systems, okay? But I've seen really bad conversion numbers. But the good news is that we've always been able to do minor things which dramatically improved the performance of that particular client's results. So what do we do with non-converters and non-responders? Well, one of the things we like to do, and I mentioned this earlier, we have a called no answer pipeline in our opportunities section of our software, our CRM that we use. And what we do with that called no answer or non-responders, we reactivate them. And we'll reactivate them based on whatever industry they're in. And we'll just really, you know, just basically remind them of how they met us, and asking them if they still want help with that particular challenge or whatever it was. And that's pretty much how we do it. And, you know, from that, we normally get about another 20-25% response. And then that just starts the process again of recontacting and getting them on the phone and all that. So, you know, reactivation is something that every business owner should have going on in their business as part of their sales process, as part of their lead conversion process. And, you know, what we've covered today is, you know, control your booking times. Don't let them book too far out. They're just not going to show up, right? Make sure you got good options on the calendar available for them, right? The other thing we covered is, you know, we don't leave messages when they don't answer. We don't send SMSs. We don't send emails. We just, you know, what we do, we just keep mixing up our call times, keep doing multiple attempts at contacting them, ringing them more than once at a time to try and get them on the phone. And, you know, if you do these things, you're going to really improve your results. We also call from mobile phone numbers. We don't call from landlines. You know, people screen those calls. They don't answer them anymore. You know, so it's important that we are calling the right way, right? Get to the lead as quickly as possible. You know, we don't have someone come through our system today and call them next Wednesday, okay? Just remember that when you're talking to people on the phone or you're meeting them on Zoom, you actually lose the benefit of your main communication tool, which is body language, okay? And so you've really got to pick up that slack with your voice and tone and what you say. So, you know, scripting and frameworks are really important. Don't wing this, really learn it and structure it. And just remember that, you know, enthusiasm is a really good way to get your voice and tone to where you need it to be. And what is enthusiasm? Well, it's just about being happy, positive, and having an energy to your voice. And you're not talking like this. How can I help you today, right? So, you know, you want to be going, hey, how can you help you? It's Tom calling from XYZ. Just following up, I saw your information come across my desk earlier. I'm just calling you to see if you know, how we can save you some money on your home loan. You know, it's looking really good, some of the information we've got. I just got a few more questions I want to ask you. Or, you know, I'm just giving you a call. Thanks for claiming that voucher. I've got opportunity tomorrow to get you in to see Dr. Whoever. Is 4 p.m. a suitable time for you to come in, right? So it's all about getting the right message across and making people feel comfortable. That's really what it comes down to. Some of the other stuff is the 3-channel follow-up, and this is really good because we can use software to start these conversations. It's things that make your life easier and let people respond to you when they're ready, but really get it to the point where you can call them and have that conversation with them to actually convert them and do what it is that you're doing the marketing for in the first place. All right. And just remember, this is the overarching tenet of everything that we do is that conversations lead to conversions. So that's pretty much the training. I hope you found it valuable. We'll be taking questions. So same way we do it normally, just email them through and I will process them and get back to you. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I hope it was valuable for you, and I will talk to you, no doubt, in the next few days. All right. Thank you. Bye.